Hello there, I'm Councillor Burton Samson, the Mayor of Basildon Borough, and I'm really excited to be here to celebrate the great get-together weekend. You know, when I decided to support the Jo Cox Foundation as my charity of the year last year, which ultimately led to the creation of More in Common Basildon Borough, little did I know the relevance this organisation would have. We are going through the biggest global pandemic we have known for many years, and on top of that we see protests on our streets around the world for Black Lives Matter as people fight for greater community cohesion. And they're the two key themes of More in Common Basildon Borough. Let's reduce loneliness and social isolation, and boy has that been an issue over recent months. And let's build a greater sense of community cohesion. So this weekend, let's have the great get back together as we come together in small groups of up to 6 people, socially distanced of course, and celebrate everything that's great about our friendship, our families and our community. More in common is vital. As Jo Cox said, we are far more united and have far more in common than that which divides us. No word could be said truer today. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me to speak at the Great Get Together event. We have witnessed many people have been murdered in acts of far-right terrorism. These atrocities are a reminder of the global consequences of far-right extremism, Islamophobia and racial hatred. The Home Office reported hate crime had increased by 40% across England and Wales last year, with 3/4 targeted at Muslims, Islamophobia and racism. When Britain left the EU, there was a rise in far-right attacks against British Muslims and other minority communities, as was seen just after the Brexit referendum. We remember the murder of the MP Jo Cox. The judge said he was motivated by admiration for Nazis. Recently, we have seen an increase in racism towards blacks after the George Floyd murder. Let us stand together to oppose terrorism, extremism, oppression, racism. Let us uphold and strengthen the unity of our society and work to ensure that it is a positive and harmonious one. It is vital that we all work together to build bridges and positive relationships. All of us bear a responsibility to go out of our way to build a common, peaceful society.
Hi everyone, I'm Councillor Gavin Callaghan, the leader of Basildon Council. And these past few months have been testing times indeed, I know that. COVID-19 has brought heartbreak, anxiety and loss. Lockdown has tested our resilience and been particularly hard on those living alone and those living in cramped, crowded conditions. In the last couple of weeks we've also seen the spotlight thrown on the racism and discrimination that still eats away at societies here and around the world. We've all truly come to appreciate the power of friendship and family. But despite these hard times, we've also seen that Basildon and Burton do not have to be places where division rules. We've seen the best of Basildon's community spirit. We've seen street parties to celebrate VE Day, neighbours picking up essential shopping for those on their street they'd perhaps never even spoken to before the pandemic. We've seen street WhatsApp groups start to connect people and share information. We've applauded our NHS, and we've come to recognise those unsung heroes as just heroes. And yes, we've even discovered TikTok. We've seen a compassion about our borough that has been inspiring and now needs nurturing. So the great get-together this weekend could not be more important. Inspired by Jo Cox, the Member of Parliament who was tragically killed on the 16th of June 2016, the great get-together is a chance to show that, as Jo said in her maiden speech to Parliament, we have more in common than that which divides us. This year, though we can't physically get together outside of our social bubbles, we can still connect together. So I'm encouraging you to think about how you can celebrate the power of community this weekend. to think especially about those who've been struggling over the past few months. There are lots of great ideas on how you can get involved on the Great Get Together website. Please ensure that anything you do does follow the social distancing guidelines that we're now all living under. But do something different, connect with people safely this weekend and have fun. And remember, all of us, from whatever town in our borough that you live, whatever your politics, your religion, your ethnicity, creed, colour, sexuality, here in the Basildon Borough, all of us have more in common.
My name is Dirk and I'm the chairman of More in Common Basildon Borough. I would like to tell you about the Great Get Together weekend of 19th to the 21st of June. The Great Get Together initiative was formed 3 years ago by family and friends of Jo Cox, the MP who was sadly murdered June 16th, 2016. And it is to commemorate the life and the legacy that Jo left behind. Communities across the country are coming together, although in these worrying times we have to bear in mind sensible social distancing rules, or to hold remote celebrations. These celebrations will be to celebrate the power of the community. Our committee here in Basildon will be holding various remote functions, for example, a mass sing-song and holding a socially distanced street party, to name but a few. And we've encouraged local residents to meet with a small group of family, friends, neighbours, socially distancing of course, to hold things like singing, coffee mornings, street parties, having a cup of tea. And please, take any videos and post them on our More in Common Basildon Borough Facebook group. Thank you, and please keep safe.
Hello, I'm Dinka Kivuiti, the Corporate Inclusion and Diversity Lead for Basildon Borough Council. The council, like all other local authorities, is governed by the Equality Act 2010, which requires us to foster good relations between communities as well as ensure equal access to services for everyone. Here at Basildon Council, we're working very hard to achieve this. We live in very different times. We've seen the impact of COVID on communities, as well as more recently a radical movement brought about by the death of George Floyd. Here in the UK, it has asked fundamental questions about the legacy of Britain, as well as the lack of equality in society. It is now more important than ever for communities to come together to have an open and honest dialogue about the past and the present. But in doing so, we must still care for each other. Indeed, COVID has demonstrated that we can come together for a common good. So let us take that positive spirit and work together to pursue social justice and seek a cohesive society in which the development of one is a precondition to the development of others. It's only then that we can start to see a more cohesive society. Let us take time to come together, share ideas, and embrace our common humanity. At the very minimum, let us just practice being good neighbours. Say hello to someone you wouldn't otherwise say hello to, regardless of who they are. After all, what happened to the spirit of good neighbourliness? I know it sounds like a very small thing, but change starts with us.
We have more in common than that which divides us. This is a quote from Jo Cox's maiden speech in the House of Commons. Division seems to be something we're all talking about right now, isn't it? It seems out of control. But for me, more in common is about not being afraid of differences, but embracing these, and at the same time being willing to find out more about the person in front of me and our shared humanity. I don't know about you, but I'm on the lookout for these positive connections even more now. I've learnt to smile with my eyes over my face mask. I've been happy to see a neighbour and spoken to them when we're on the doorstep clapping, and I've enjoyed phone and video chats and virtual coffees. A favourite quote of mine says, "A great revolution in character in just a single individual will help achieve a change in the destiny of a nation, and further will cause a change in the destiny of humankind." The More in Common and Great Get-Together initiatives encourage us right where we are to make space for positive human interaction, which I think we need more than ever. What do you think? Whatever we're doing this week and beyond, let's have the courage and imagination to believe I too can make a difference.
I'd like to build a home, burn the shade of love. Oh, I've got trees and so I turn to love. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. I'd like to see the world for once all standing hand in hand. I'd hear them echo over the hills around the land. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. I'd like to hold it in my arms and keep it harmony. As the sunlight, I'd like to see the world for once standing hand in hand. And hear them echo through the hills, rooms throughout the land. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony.